Okay, good afternoon. The time is now 5 p.m. and our commission work session is now called to order. We'll start with the public hearing, 050 retail beer off premises only, and a 070 retail table wine off premises only liquor license application by, and I'm probably going to mess this up, so please forgive me. How do you pronounce that, sir? Manojava, okay. One LLC for Four-Way Market, 1651 Baum Road, Wetumpka, Alabama. If there are any persons here that are in favor of this, these licenses, please make your way to the podium at this time, and we'll hear any comments that you have. Are you here for the public hearing? Do you have any comments you'd like to make? Okay. Is there anyone here in opposition of the granting of this license or have any comments they would like to make? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our regular business. Review of the minutes of the May 23rd, 2016 commission meeting and corrections. I will say and ask the commissioners to please note that the May 23rd, there's a meeting correction. It should have stated May 9th instead of May 23rd. And that was on our last commission meeting. Are there any other corrections, additions, or deletions? Hearing none, we will move forward to the review of memorandum of warrants for the period of May 19, 2016 through June 1st, 2016. Ms. McDuffie?
Yes, Chairman. The memorandum of warrants for the period stated was $2,014,246.
Okay, are there any questions for Ms. McDuffie? Under new business, we will start with, we have here Justin Barkley, Legal Counsel, Quality Correctional Health Care. This is a contract renewal. Is anyone here to speak regarding this contract? Mr. Barkley? No? Sheriff, did you want to say anything regarding this?
I thought Mr. Barkley might be here and have some questions. I talked to Mr. Bowen. This particular contract, I think Warden Henline or Assistant Warden Carlton can tell you, the quality health care, the nurses and doctors, no problem whatsoever. When this contract was originally done back in 2012, I believe, it was done on the basis of approximately 270 capacity there at the jail. At full capacity, we're at 242. Okay. For the last year, 2 years, I'd say probably the last 24 months, we've probably been running anywhere around 200, 210. So we're about 20% underneath what the original contract called for. Okay. Now, I know they have asked for additional 3%. I think the last year they asked 0, and then 2013, they asked for 2.6%. The only thing we wanted to bring to the Commission's attention was that we're nowhere near the 270 capacity. Why? Well, the Sentencing Commission and the way they are sentencing people now is altogether different than how we were sentencing inmates as far as in the state of Alabama. When they go through the criminal justice system now, a lot of those people are being placed on community corrections instead of being housed in the jail awaiting their time to go to Kilby. So it's not ballooned up like it once was.
Okay, Sheriff. Anyone have any questions for the Sheriff while he's here? Okay. Attorney Barkley, is it Attorney Barkley? If you would come on up and...
Appreciate you doing that. Well, I'm Justin Barkley. I'm with Quality Correctional Health Care. And as the Sheriff had said, we've had a contract here and been privileged to be y'all's provider here since 2012. It's a 3-year contract. Last year, it has the ability to do renewals if both parties agree. Last year, we did a flat renewal. And in looking at it, we thought, well, you know, last year we did a flat renewal. Let's look at potentially doing a CPI-based inflation adjustment That was something we had asked about, and then it was brought to my attention, which my mistake in not checking, that the census, the average daily population is below what the contract calls for. So what Ms. McDuffie and I talked about today was that we would be happy with another flat renewal.
Are there any questions from the commission regarding the renewal of this contract? Okay, so your flat renewal, that's absent the 3% increase?
Correct. So, and I had sent Ms. McDuffie a letter over email today just
Okay.
to confirm that.
Okay, all right.
Is that, sorry, is that, I believe that's right. Yes, that's right. It's 390, 11808.
Okay.
That's, it's the 2012, July 2012, June 30 was 380, 232. It was that for 2 years, and this would be the third year, then that it would be at the 390, 11808 rate.
Okay, are there any other questions?
Sheriff Franklin, what are your prospects on this coming year? How many average inmates do you expect to have?
Any other questions for the
I
sheriff?
was gonna ask one, please. So the average is based off of the 270, so it's down to, saying 220 now, and that's just for a year. 20% under a year. Is there any way that the contract can come down if it's at an average of 20, gone down from 280 to 220? I mean, just besides not giving the increase, is there any way to reduce the contract itself,
Yeah,
or the amount?
I'd be happy to speak to
Okay.
that if that's appropriate. Sure. I guess the first thing to talk about is what makes up some of the costs. 2/3 to maybe 70% of the contract is the staffing pattern, the labor cost. So regardless of how many inmates are there, if you've got a certain set number of nurses and coverage hours, that cost is that cost. Sometimes you get a big change in the number of inmates such that you talk about whether you want to increase or decrease the nurse staffing pattern. The other 30% are things that do vary somewhat based on the population. How much is the pharmacy cost? It's going to vary based on the population size. How much medical supplies are being used? How many labs are being ordered? How many x-rays are being ordered? Those kind of things do vary by inmate population. So, I guess to answer your question, it's possible. I will say this will be the third year in a row at that flat level, and all those things get more expensive over time. So, if that's something that the commission wants to explore, we'll look at it. But my guess is that, given it's a flat number for the last 3 years, means it's probably, given that those costs, both in terms of labor and pharmacy, lab, everything, it's probably close to being right sized.
Okay.
Okay, and let me also point out, here, just as a point of reference, this is now a annual contract instead of what it has previously been as a 3-year contract, right?
Right, so the initial contract was an express 3-year contract. By its terms, that contract expired June 30, 2015. The contract has a provision that says if the parties agree to it, they can renew it on an annual basis. So this will be the 2nd year now where we've operated off that same document, but just said we'll renew it for 1 more year.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Barkley. Are there any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we will, thank you, gentlemen, thank you, Sheriff. We'll move forward to the Youth Work-Based Learning Program through the Alabama Career Center System. Christina Holloway.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Christina Holloway. I'm a business service representative with the Alabama Career Center. The Alabama Career Center is located in, The Alabama Career Center is located in Montgomery, Alabama at 1060 East South Boulevard. We have a lot of different services. One such service is the Youth Work-Based Learning Program. That program is available for youth between the ages of 18 through 24 that qualify for federal dollars under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. These are federal dollars that are regulated by the state and dispersed through to the Alabama Career Center. This is a no-fee program. Youth can work and gain work experience for 13 weeks, a total of 390 hours. They will make minimum wage. My purpose today is just to see if 3 of your departments would be interested in serving as a work site for the Youth Work-Based Learning Program through the Alabama Career Center.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Holloway. Are there any questions for Ms. Holloway of the Commission?
I have one. Who pays the salary?
This is paid for through the grant dollars for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. They're federal dollars, but dispersed through the state.
Okay.
The Alabama Department of Commerce disperses those funds.
Okay.
So is that, would there be any cost at all to the county?
No cost to the county, no.
No incidental cost or anything?
No, ma'am. Thank you for bringing that up. Actually, these youth are also covered by workers' compensation, which is also funded through that same grant, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. It's regulated and distributed based on the Family Guidance Center of Alabama. So if someone were to get injured on the job, it would not cost the county anything. This grant dollars would pay for that.
Okay, I do have one more question for you. So how are these pool of applicants selected and screened?
Usually what takes place is this program is available throughout the state of Alabama. In our area, we tend to target Elmore, Autauga, and Montgomery. So basically, any youth that's 18 through 24 that's interested in determining if they qualify for the program, they would come into the Career Center, say, I would like to apply for work-based learning. And then what we do is determine based on their present income for the last 6 months if they're eligible.
Okay. And so how is this advertised?
We have it on Facebook, word of mouth. We also have brochures, flyers, where we're getting the word out.
Okay.
Now, I could certainly use assistance if you all do decide to serve as a work site with recruiting in your area.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Madam Chairman, could we ask, I'd like to ask the administrator if she's familiar with such a program.
No, not until Ms. Holloway had brought it to my attention several weeks ago. And but I did have a question also. Now, you mentioned that you take applicants to see if there's, so you don't have an applicant ready to start work and we place them. You take applications and see if they're, we have something for them.
What we typically do is there is a youth HR case manager. When the youth come in and are found to be eligible for the program, she inquires what their interests are. So they're placed at work sites based on their interest. So at this time, to be honest with you, I'm not knowledgeable of any applicants in the pool that have expressed an interest in your area.
So it's not like we say we need help in this office doing filing or this.
Yes, you tell me what you're interested in. So let's just say some of the positions we have, administrative assistant. So let's say you say, here, we need an administrative assistant helper. So then what we would do when we meet to do an employer orientation is to compose a job description in which you inform me of what that worker will be doing.
Mr. Bauer, are you familiar with this kind of program?
I was not. It does interest me, though, to be able to reach out and see if there's anybody in the construction maintenance field that would be a good way to try them out. I mean, we do something similar with, not funded the way she's talking about, with our interns during the summer, and that's kind of how we promote engineering and maintenance, but I'm not familiar with this program. Yes, sir.
Well, in other words, Madam Chairman, then if she's asking for approval of three different departments, we're actually just in control of really two, right? That would be the commission office and the engineer and EMA or something like that. Okay. But we wouldn't be speaking, for the probate office or the revenue, okay.
But would there be an opportunity to get additional applicants, more than 3, if some of the other department heads were interested or elected officials were interested?
Not at this time, unfortunately it is not.
Okay.
Because what we're trying to do is make sure we disperse the slots equally to the best of our abilities.
Okay.
And also, we have to take into consideration the interest of the students. So, not at this time.
Okay. Thank you. Anything further from the commission? Okay, thank you, Ms. Holloway. Next, we have Scott Pierce, Capel and Howard, Reed, Kavanaugh, Stiefel, sorry about that, and company regarding Elmore County bond issue, authorizing resolution.
Thank you. Scott Pierce. I've been up here several times before, but this is basically, I've done the legal work on your latest bond issue that y'all are all familiar with. These guys can tell you more about the numbers and how that all shook out, but what I've brought is a resolution for that authorizes the issuance of the bonds and delivery of the bonds, and handles all the legal aspects of bond issuance, which would occur on Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Ken and I have been working on this credit, and I just have to congratulate y'all. First of all, you got your credit rating confirmed at AA. That is an outstanding credit rating for a county. As y'all know, counties in Alabama have very limited taxing authority, so to be able to get into that AA category when we have the overall framework in the state of having limited ability to raise revenue, what that says is that y'all have been managing your resources very well. You've done it over a long period of time, and the rating agencies took an independent look at your credit, and they really liked what they saw. So congratulations to you on that. Because you had such a high credit rating, you were able to lock in an interest rate of 2.5% fixed for 20 years. So frankly, several years ago, if you'd told me I'd be telling somebody they could, have a fixed interest rate for 20 years, less than 3%, we would have thought that was crazy. But here we are, and y'all have done a great job, and we're just appreciate the opportunity to work with you. Ken has been over here in Elmore County even longer than I have. Ken, you got any comments that you want to make?
Well, only that this was a follow-on pretty quickly to the other deal. The added benefit here, of course, is this energy savings that will be generated to help to offset the debt service. And we achieved the first ever rating for this county last year, and this was a nice follow-on to that. And from that moment to this, your county administrator, Guppy, and county engineer Buyer have become sort of very adept at speaking with the rating analysts and providing what they need, answering the questions in a thoughtful and timely manner, and they turned into pros in the rating business in a pretty short period of time. So congratulations to them as well in this transaction. We appreciate being a part of it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Are there any questions? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next, we have on the agenda to consider the Revenue Commission's annual report, errors, insolvents, and litigation on taxes for year 2015. This is actually just notification to us. It's done annually per code section 40-5-23. The Revenue Commissioner Macon is not here. He's at a conference. And this is one of those notices that if it is to be approved, it has to be done tonight, because per that code section, it has to be approved at the first meeting in June. Does the commission, anyone on the commission have any questions regarding this annual report? Okay, next we have discussing amendment number 4 of May 23rd, 2016 minutes regarding transferring excess funds from the May 20th, 2013 tax sales to the general fund. I'll ask Ms. McDuffie to bring us up to speed on that.
Yes, Chairman. This particular transfer from the excess land sales fund is per code section 40-10-28. Every year for the excess land sales, 3 years, over 3 years old, they are transferred into the general fund. And so that's what we're doing on this particular one. And on May 23rd, the amount was incorrect. And so what we're doing tonight is just correcting the amount. The Revenue Commissioner's office and our office had a discrepancy between the numbers, and we had to get with them to work that out. So it's just a correction of the amount.
Thank you, Ms. McDuffie. Are there any questions? Next, we have consider discussing the polling site contract for Kane Chapel, a United Methodist Church, which is at 96 Lightwood Road in Deepsville. It's my understanding of this that they're requesting to be paid $300 for them being an election site per election as they occur. Are there any questions regarding that? Joe, I think this is your district. You have anything on it?
It's actually
mine.
Oh, Mark,
yeah.
okay. Excuse me, Mark, you have
We
anything?
pay, if I'm not mistaken, we pay other polling places to use their facilities. I think it's what, $300 a year, or per polling, I believe. I mean, per voting.
Yeah.
Per election.
Per
Yeah,
election.
per election, so I personally don't have a problem with it.
Okay. Are there any questions? Next, we have to consider agency agreement and resolution for National Voting Registration Act voter notices postage payment. This too is something that's generally done annually. I think I skipped one. Excuse me. Let me back up. We're going to discuss the voting machine memorandums of understanding with Elmore County municipalities. Now, these are for the county-owned machines only, for the impaired, not which is the hopper machines. It's not the ones that are that ES&S provides. So these are just the county-owned machines that are for those who are impaired. Do we have any questions on that? Anybody need any clarification? Now, I do know that Ms. McDuffie will send out to all municipalities this memorandum of understanding for those who want to participate in using those machines. And that way, we won't have, it'll eliminate any confusion if a municipality forgets to let us know that they want to use them. We'll send them all out, and those who want to participate can send it back, saying so, and that way we'll make sure everyone is taken care of and it's not any confusion as we are preparing for voting. Are there any questions regarding this item? Okay. Next, we're going to consider the agency agreement and resolution for the National Voter Registration Act, voter notices postage payment. This is something that's also done annually. I'll ask Ms. McDuffie if she'll speak to it for us.
These are notices that are sent out by the Secretary of State's office, and then the Elmore County Commission. Each commission will reimburse the Secretary of State and then claim reimbursement from our state election expenses. So it's just swapping around money. But yes, this is something that the Secretary of State mails out yearly for us.
Okay,
for,
thank you.
for the state.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McDuffie. Are there any questions? Next on the agenda is to discuss releasing $14,640.30 unclaimed funds over 10-year-old to the general fund from the county fiduciary account. Ms. McDuffie?
Okay, what this is it's code section 19387, and, the courts, probate, circuit court, district court, when they have, unclaimed funds, checks that they have written, they keep them for a period of 5 years, and then they send them to the, county fiduciary account, where they sit for 10 years, if not claimed after 10 years, they are paid over to the, county general fund. And so each year, we go back and the ones that are 10 years old, we move them into the general fund. In this particular year, for, 2005, was $14,640.30.
Thank you, Ms. McDuffie. Are there any questions? Next, we have to discuss the CADTF Federal Forfeiture Bond, Fund Budget Amendment. Ms. McDuffie?
This amendment was, requested by the, Drug Task Force Commander. The federal forfeiture money has to be, approved by ADECA to be spent, and, he wanted to amend the budget for $10,000. This is no general fund money, so we do not have to come before the commission at each and every expenditure between now and September the 30th. So this is just an estimate, but the expenditures do have to be approved by ADECA.
Thank you, Ms. McDuffie. Are there any questions? Next, we will consider the ADM Tire Recycling Demonstration Project Budget Amendment. Ms. McDuffie, or Richie? Is that you, Richie?
Yeah, Rich will go into detail on the particular project, but this is $26,000 and it's a state grant. We will receive $26,000 and we will pay out $26,000, so there's no cost at all to the county on this particular grant.
I was just gonna remind the commission that this is the demonstration project for the Learning Tree over in the Tallahassee area that we were awarded. This is the final thing to take place before we can start executing the project.
Thank you, Mr. Byer. Thank you, Ms. McDuffie. Are there any questions from the commission? Next, we are discussing a joint letter of support for the Porch Specific Trust Land Reaffirmation. Richie?
Ms. Vice Chair and Commissioners, you have in your packet a summary and a House resolution and a letter of support that has been sent over by the Porch Band Creek of Indians that does exactly what the title infers. It's just a reaffirmation of their trust property. This is our trust lands. This is a bill that Congressman Byrne is proposing to put forth in Congress for them, and they have been asked to seek the support of the local governments, and this is just part of that process. Do y'all have any questions about the reaffirmation?
Are there any questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Byer. Next, we're going to discuss an agreement and resolution for Elmore County to participate in joint bidding program with counties in LDOT Southeast Region. Mr. Byer?
Yes, ma'am. The Association of County Commissions of Alabama and the County Engineers Association for over 15 years have done a joint bid program for equipment statewide. This program is a microcosm of that equipment program. The old, what they call 7th Division of ALDOT, the counties in that division would typically, over the last, I'd say 6-7 years, instead of each county doing, as we do, 28 to 30 annual bids to buy supplies and materials for the highway department, they would go in and they would do bids for their pipe, their material, all sorts of different erosion control items. And they do it in such a way to where the counties would split those duties up to where maybe a county does 3 or 4 bids instead of 28 or 30 like we do. So it also increases the buying power, so prices generally come down. And the only thing that we have to do to participate in that program is pass a resolution saying that we want to be part of it. It doesn't bind us to buy from that program. We can still buy off other bid programs, but what it does is it does disseminate the work a little bit to where we can put more things on bid and any of you who've ever worked on a bid, I mean, Miss Pam does a lot of ours there at the shop, and she probably spends anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks from begin to end on that process. So anything we can do to kind of work together and work smarter, that's what we're after. So this program is geared to that, and I imagine when we get done, we'll have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 40 different items that we can buy, whether it's work like paving, pavement preservation, items like the microsurfacing we're doing, chip sealing. It's going to give us a lot more options. So.
Thank you, Mr. Byer. Are there any questions for Mr. Byer? Next, we have to consider the fiscal year 2016 State Emergency Management Performance Grant Cooperative Agreement. That, too, is an annual grant that we generally match, about $2,695. Ms. McDuffie, will you give us some further information on that?
Yes, this grant is a 50-50 match. We can match that with salary, supplies, you know, anything that's under the emergency management operation. So it will not be any additional money. We by far spend that much money on the EMA program. This is a yearly grant. So any further questions?
Any questions of Ms. McDuffie? Next, we have the consent docket, which is to approve the travel memorandum, approve request for declaration of emergency illness for Douglas Cole Cousins. Are there either of these items any commissioner would like to take off for further consideration? Okay. Personnel notifications. Notification of resignation of James Caton, part-time correctional officer, effective 5/18/2016, and notification of hire of Jennifer Long, part-time Crenshaw Summer Program Activities Coordinator, effective 5/31/16. Reports to the Commission. Ms. McDuffie, do you have any reports?
I do not have a report, but I would like to add an item to the business meeting. I failed to add the to request approval of donated leave, 40 hours sick leave from Barry Smith to Cole Cousins. If the Commission is agreeable, I would like to add that to the consent docket.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McDuffie. Are there any questions for Ms. McDuffie? Okay. Mr. Byer, you have any reports?
Yes, ma'am, I do. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the commissioners and the commission staff for their support of the Self family and the death of Dylan Self, one of our county employees. I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers, and I know the family does appreciate that as well. We've had several deaths in the county family, not just in Elmore County, but across the state over the last 4 or 5 days, and y'all probably seen a lot of those through the social media posts that have come out through the association and emails. So just been a tough few days. In front of you, you've got a spreadsheet, a large spreadsheet, and some pictures. The spreadsheet is an update on our implementation schedule of Blueprint 2020. The first group of projects are ones that y'all are familiar with, as we've updated you over those over the last 12 to 15 months. The lower portion is some other projects that have been going on that are not necessarily associated with Blueprint 2020, but are projects that are included in the budget, and some of them are maintenance items, some of them are building items as well. So just want to kind of give you an idea, because I can't get you necessarily to every job site, but I wanted you to be able to see some of the work that's going on, and we're trying to do a better job of keeping you up to date through that, to where I know some of you are using social media to reach out, and we're trying to do a lot more documentation through videos and pictures. So one important project that is in there, the second picture that you see, is the Corn Creek Access Road. If you remember, around Christmas time, we struck an agreement with the Coosa River Paddling Club and the City of Wetumpka to do a partnership. We are a couple of weeks away from being able to open that, and when we do that, I think it would be appropriate for the Paddling Club, the city, and the commission there to do some type of ceremony there for an opening of that road. In addition, we've also been able to make some changes to the sheriff's access to his shooting range, to where he'll have a much easier access point and road to get in there, and it'll also give us the opportunity to do some removal of material in there that we can use on projects, but also give him expanded space down there around his shooting range and for training purposes. So I think if the sheriff's gone, but I think if you asked him, I think he's pretty happy about what's going on down there. We've also got several other projects you can see related to the FEMA work and the floods from Christmas that we're still working on. We've gotten the majority of work done, but we've got some special projects related to some gully and slope stabilization that are going on. We do anticipate by the next meeting having some EWP agreements in hand that we can address two places, one on Dozier Road and one on Willow Springs, that were affected during the storms. They were off the right-of-way, but if we don't address them in the near future, they're going to affect the right-of-ways and the roads, and in one case, a bridge. So, Ms. Vice Chairman, I think that's everything that I've got. Y'all have any questions for me?
Ingram Road Bridge update.
Contractor is, and that was included in there, contractor is still working on the approach work. They should be, by the end of the week, in a position to where we think they'll have crush base down and getting in a position ready to pave. And they've got their guardrail contractors lined up as well. They're just waiting for all the approach work to be done. Right now, they've got the road area done, but they don't have the areas adjacent to the barrier rail where the guardrail can be tied to finished up. I was out there this morning. They had trucks plenty out there working. So I'll keep you some pictures to where you can keep updated on that as well. So.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Byer. Are there any other questions for Mr. Byer? Okay. Eric is not here tonight, so we will move on to the attorney's report. Attorney Weller, do you have a report for us?
I have nothing to report, Madam Chairperson, but I'd be glad to answer any questions of the commissioners.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Weller? All right, at this time we'll have our important calendar date.
Monday, June 27th is our next commission work session at 5 with the business meeting following.
Thank you, Ms. Erb. Reports from the Commissioner. Commissioner Taylor?
Yes, ma'am. I have a couple of things. I wanted to give my condolences to the families that's been affected by death, the Self family and the Ledbetter family here in the county. Give those. I also wanted to thank Richie and his work on the grant to the Learning Tree over there, and that's coming to fruition. A lot of people don't know that that's a facility that has disabled children in there, and that grant is going to give them, they're playing right now on pavement, and this will give them a rubberized facility or surface that a lot of these kids have trouble with balance issues and stuff like that, that they will be able, if they do fall, that they won't fall on asphalt, they'll fall on this rubberized surface there. Also want to thank Rich and them, and them continuing to work with the Tallahassee Board of Education, and I've gone by a couple of times and watched them and talked to them about their improvements and their projects they got going on, their resurfacing of the parking lots. It looks like it's going very well, and I want to thank you for that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Commissioner Falk?
No report at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Falk. Commissioner Rachel?
I want to reiterate what Commissioner Taylor said. Keep the Self family in our thoughts and prayers. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Rachel. I would just like to thank everyone for their support and prayers during the untimely, unfortunate, and illness of my husband. I appreciate everyone who thought of us, whether it was through a prayer, a text, a call, whatever contribution you made, whatever you did for us, we greatly appreciate it. And I can tell you, you never leave home not realizing or thinking about not being able to get back the same way you left. So when we were able to see the sign that said, Sweet Home Alabama, I'd never been proud in my life to be back in Alabama. Mississippi was okay. They took care of my husband. They got him back to where he needed to be to get back on the road to recovery. But I'm very thankful to be back in Alabama, and especially in Elmore County. So thanks to everyone who sent up a prayer for us. Continue to lift him in your prayers as he continues to recover. At this time, this concludes our work session. We will now adjourn to prepare for the business portion of the meeting. The business portion of our meeting is now called to order. We'll have our invocation by Commissioner Taylor, Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Rachel.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you today thanking you for this beautiful day, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we ask that you watch over us and guide this commission and help guide the politicians out here today, dear Lord, and give them the guidance and making the decisions that will make our country a strong country, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we ask that you comfort the people that we've mentioned earlier and during the work session, dear Lord, and their families and the deaths that they've had, that you comfort them and put your loving arms around them, dear Lord, and bless them in the way that they need to be blessed, dear Lord. Dear Lord, most of all, we also pray for the massacre in Orlando, dear Lord, that you comfort their families, dear Lord, in a way that, in a manner that needs to be appropriate, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we ask that you watch over us and guide us as we go through this commission meeting, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we ask you watch over the people here and the commissioners and the workers, and as we go through these days, dear Lord, that it's hot and these workers are out on the road and the people are working, that you watch over them, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we ask you watch over us as we go home, dear Lord. Guide us and protect us. And most of all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, and his sacrifice on the cross, dear Lord, for us to give us eternal salvation. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
We'll now have the roll call.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
Commissioner Falk?
Here.
Commissioner Bowen? Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Present.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Move we accept the minutes of the May 23rd meeting.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve the memorandum of warrants for the period of May 19, 2016 through June 1st, 2016.
Motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Under old business, we have a motion to approve or deny a 050 retail beer off premises only and a 070 retail table wine off premises only liquor license application by Manoyova One LLC for Four Way Market, 1651 Baum Road, Wetumpka, Alabama, 36092. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Under new business, we have a motion. Do we have a motion to approve or deny extending Quality Correctional Health Care contract for an additional 1-year term as mutually agreed upon by both parties?
Motion to table.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny Alabama's Career Centers Systems Youth Work-Based Learning Program.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny Elmore County bond issue authorizing resolution and authorizing the chairman to execute.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny Revenue Commission's annual report, errors, insolvents, and litigations on taxes for year 2015.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
A motion to approve or deny amending attachment number 4 of the May 23rd, 2016 minutes regarding transferring excess funds from May 20th, 2013 tax sale to the general fund.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny polling site contract for Kane Chapel UMC and authorize chairman to execute.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny voting machine memorandums of understanding with Elmore County municipalities.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second, call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny agency agreement and resolution for National Voters Registration Act, voter notices, postage payment, and authorize chairman to execute.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny releasing $14,640.30 unclaimed funds over 10-year old to the general fund from county fiduciary account.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second by Trey Taylor. Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny CADTF Federal Forfeiture Fund Budget Amendment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny ADM Tire Recycling Demonstration Project Budget Amendment.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny joint letter of support for the Porch Specific Trust Land Reaffirmation and authorize chairman to execute.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve, deny agreement and resolution for Elmore County to participate in joint bidding program with counties in ALDOT Southeast Region and authorize chairman to execute.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Motion to approve or deny fiscal year 2016 State Emergency Management Performance Grant Cooperative Agreement and authorize chairman to execute.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Move we approve the consent docket.
Second.
Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smoke?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Personnel notifications, so duly noted. Are there any further reports to the commission from our county administrator, Ms. McDuffie?
No, but I will be more than happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chairman, I do have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
The question is this: in us tabling the quality correctional health care contract, are we under some kind of time restraint there?
Yes, the contract ends the last day of this month. We can negotiate with them, and a decision will have to be made on the county commission meeting on June the 27th.
Okay. Okay.
Anything further? Anything further?
Well, I was just wondering if there was a way that we could approve it with the negotiation. I'm a little bit nervous about waiting that late. And it's not against the rules for us to pull it off the table if we wanted to before we adjourned, so we could vote on it. If we could have suitable language that, and maybe the attorney could help me out with the language that I guess it would be contingent upon our workable solution or agreement. Something like that.
Okay, Commissioner Falk, so it's my understanding you would like for us to do a conditional approval pending the correct language after meeting with the attorney?
Yes, ma'am. My thought is there is we certainly don't want any kind of interruption in inmate health care. And of course, that would be totally up to Commissioner Taylor to take it off the table, but I would at least ask that be thought about.
Well, I was tabling it because I wanted to make if we could make adjustments to the contract. If we're at the contract is set at based off of 270. If we come back and make adjustments to 220, 240, to something to that extent, is the reason that I tabled it, so that we can make an adjustments to vote on it for the next meeting.
So we have a request on the floor for from Commissioner Fall asking to rescind your motion to table, and, we now need a, affirmation or non-affirmation from you whether or not you will rescind your motion to table.
Madam Chairman, let me just, can I insert my legal advice?
Yes, go
on this?
ahead.
The problem that I see, unless you come up with a firm agreement at this point, is you're just voting on an agreement to agree in the future. And I don't think you can vote on an agreement to agree in the future because that's just a negotiation. And, you know, as much as I'd like to figure out a way you could do that, I'm just not sure you can.
Well, we're gonna have to evaluate your process here.
Right.
Well, as long as we're not endangering a commitment to inmate health care, if next meeting can get it done, then I'm all for it. But if it's necessary that we do it tonight, and I think Commissioner Taylor's satisfied it's not necessary to take it off the table, so that's fine. But I understand his thinking, and I agree with his thinking, but I just don't want to be time restrained, so that we lose, health benefits for our inmates.
Thank you, Commissioner Falk, and that is so noted. Just as a point of clarification, Ms. McDuffie, would you please give us the date when this contract expires?
Sorry, it expires, the last day of this month. The new term will be July the 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017.
Okay, and our
It
next
expires
commission.
the last day of this month.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions regarding this? Okay, seeing none, we will move on. I think Ms. McDuffie, were you finished with your report? Did you have anything further?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Byer, do you have anything further on your report?
No, ma'am.
Attorney Weller.
Nothing to add, Madam Chairman.
Okay. Commissioners, any further reports? Seeing none, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Falk?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Daniel Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Rachel?
Yes.
Meeting is now adjourned.